Welcome to the Joey Awaken Podcast. My next guest is Orlando Leyva, a stand up comedian who connects with all audiences through his unique life experiences and perspective. With his animated demeanor, Orlando entertains the audience through his dynamic storytelling and humor. He has been working really hard, making his mark on the comedy scene. Orlando was on AGT. He had multiple appearances on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. His comedy special, Adorable, is streaming on HBO, and he voices a character in the animated kids film Louise and the Aliens on Hulu. He appeared on the three episodes of True TV's Laugh Tracks and on TBS Rec League. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, brother.
I am petty, but I'm petty with a purpose. I'll give you an example. Every once in a while, iPhone likes to sneak into the house, right, in the middle of the night and do an update to my phone without my permission. The next morning, I get up to go walk for my walk, and my music starts glitching. My music is glitching. I turn around, I go home. I get on the phone with Apple. She goes, "Oh, Mr. Leyva, we've been getting a lot of these complaints. It's a simple fix. Here's what you got to do. Delete your musical application, reinstall your musical application, then download all your music back down from the cloud. Is this something you could do, Mr. Leyva?" I said, "Ma'am, you lost me at what you need to do. I don't work for Apple. I'm the furthest thing from a genius. Furthest thing from a genius." 2 hours later, they snuck into my house again, did an update, fixed it. I did that. I triggered that chain reaction.
So, can you tell me about your upbringing and how it has played and shaped your comedic style? Born in Rios Piedra, Puerto Rico.
Yes. Moved over to Dominican Republic. My first passport was at 6 months old. I was born in
Mm,
Puerto Rico, but my mother's of Dominican descent, so it's my father. And she worked in Puerto Rico,
mm,
and then she would travel back and forth from Dominican
okay.
Republic. My brothers, I have older brothers. They were born in Dominican Republic, so they weren't able to travel. All their visas and stuff was being worked on. But
Hmm.
because I was born in Puerto Rico, I was a U.S. citizen, and that granted me the access that I
Hmm.
needed, that everybody was chasing. I had it already. My mom was smart. I
Right.
thank her for that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. From there, you ended up from Puerto Rico to New
From Puerto
York.
Rico, yeah, Puerto Rico, New York, and then back to DR, back to Dominican Republic, back to New York. I just bounced a lot with my mother and my aunts, and then finally, at the age of 7, I was full time living in Florida, Miami, Florida, and that's where it all comes from. That's where the
Hmm.
energy, the vibe, the pride. I try to tell people something about Miami, and they always feel some type of way because they're like, when they visit South Florida, they're like, man, I
Hmm.
feel like I need my passport. And then I said, well, yeah, that's the way it is, because it's kind of like, especially being a Latino, Latinx, Afro Latino, whatever it is that you consider yourself, you're in
Hmm.
an environment that's just caters to you. So
Hmm.
it's kind of like, there is that, like, you could go your whole life living in Miami and not have to learn English, but that's
Hmm.
just the community that we live in. You know, the cop that pulls you over, he speaks Spanish. You go to court,
Right.
the judge speaks Spanish. You go to the hospitals, the doctor speaks Spanish. It's just
Hmm.
part of the culture down there. Even the ones that move down there end up
Hmm.
saying, man, I got to learn Spanish. And then I go, yeah, you should. You know, I miss it. I
Hmm.
love it. I live in California now, and it's different. But in Florida, I grew up, went to school there, and then had a lot of jobs, and then I ended up working for CBS News, owned and operated
Hmm.
by CBS News, and I worked myself up from being like a microwave truck operator all the
Hmm.
way to being a satellite engineer, to be able to work the cameras, to be able
Hmm.
to edit, and everything. And it's all stuff that I hated, Joey. I hated so much having to work the camera and stuff. But it's like whatever the creator's plan was
Mm-hmm.
right on
Mm-hmm.
time, because fast forward now I'm in stand up, and now stand up has become all about social media and your videos and your clips. And I probably save a lot of money because I already know how to do that. So I
Right.
know how to
Most
I know how
definitely.
to tell
Right.
a story. And also,
Right.
this is a good inside baseball tip I just gave to a comic when
Mm-hmm.
I was just in New York playing Yonkers Comedy Club. It's a fantastic club in Yonkers, New York. The owner, Jeff, is such a pro and so loving. Um, there was a comic there that I try to explain timing to them, because there's comics that say, man, 5 minutes is not enough time, or 5 minutes. And then I said, well, if you kind of look at it like a news story, which is where I come from, most news stories at the most, they're like a minute 30 seconds. So in a
Mm-hmm.
minute 30 seconds, they're able to tell a beginning, a middle, and an end to a story, and give you
Right.
the information of what's going on, So
Mm-hmm.
that's that's also like, now that I'm getting older, and you start zooming out on life.
Mm-hmm.
When we're younger,
Right.
we're so zoomed in on stuff. Now that I'm zoomed out, and I practice that a lot, every situation I kind of look at it that way. Now,
Mm-hmm.
um, um, I can see all the gifts that were bestowed upon me earlier on in life to set me on the path that I am now. I didn't know that this was a path. I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was just a regular dude, man. And then this
Right.
happened. My wife helped me out. Actually, she bought me for as a gift. She got me improv acting lessons, and then
Mm-hmm.
at the improv class, they were like, "Oh, we think you're also a stand-up comic. You should try stand-up comedy." And then
Mm-hmm.
boom, catapult, and then it was off to the races after that.
Mm-hmm. Was she like an artist as well?
Yes, my wife, she sings. She
Mm.
still does around the house. She has a beautiful voice. She sung
Mm-hmm.
background for major acts. She was in beauty pageants, and
Mm-hmm.
so she
Mm-hmm.
comes from the entertainment world. We
Right.
met
Right.
in entertainment. I was
Mm.
actually doing booking at a recording studio. This is
Mm-hmm.
before I was at CBS News. I've had many jobs. But it was always weird how they always led me into like entertainment, and I didn't see it happening. But my wife worked in the field, so when we're grown-ups and we have a house and we're married, and the time came for me to like really follow the dream and go on the
Mm-hmm.
journey, she was
Mm-hmm.
more than supportive, because she understood. She understood the ins and outs and the long distance and the whole thing. We did 2.5 years long distance, where she lived in
Mm.
Florida and I lived in Los Angeles, California.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's pretty long
yeah,
time. 2 years.
yeah. But we made it happen, man. We used all the
Mm-hmm.
miles. We
Mm-hmm.
got on
Mm-hmm.
airplanes.
Mm-hmm.
I even took a job. I remember sitting down and asking my creator for
Mm-hmm.
help. I was just like, I need to see my wife. I remember
Mm-hmm.
that moment. And then out of nowhere, another comic, Sean G, that same day I run into him. He's like, "Oh, Delta's hiring." And I applied for Delta, and I got hired at LAX part-time, doing luggage. So
Mm-hmm.
it worked perfectly with my schedule, where I could do stand-up. It gave me money.
Mm-hmm.
So I had constant, like a secure check. But most important above all that was that now we have flight privileges. So she could
Right.
fly back and forth.
What inspired you to pursue a career in stand-up comedy?
Just seeing, like, finally seeing myself in that light. Me doing stand up
Mm-hmm.
was
Mm-hmm.
just something that people saw in me.
Mm-hmm.
There's a certain vibe to you, Orlando. There's a certain
Mm-hmm.
thing. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
someone coming to you, Joey, and being like, "Joey, yo, you should do a podcast, man. You have good energy. You get
Mm-hmm.
stuff out of people that they wouldn't do, and you don't
Mm-hmm.
see that in yourself." So
Mm-hmm.
with the stand up, I just knew I was a vibe, and I knew that I was funny, but it was kind of like me and my friends funny, and my wife, and in my living room. And
Right. Right.
now I've once I got into it, then it became this thing of service, where it still comes from a selfish,
Mm-hmm.
ego driven place,
Mm-hmm.
because they I talk very weird to people. I look at things different,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not different. So when I do comedy, it's like I go and I make a present and I build this nice little present and I bring it to the
Mm-hmm.
audience. And it's this wonderful exchange where like I give them my present and then they give me a present back, which is laughter.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's this great exchange between the both of us, and then that's what it becomes. So um, it became great to be of service to the same way that I can make my wife and my mother laugh and my brother, that I can go in total strangers and make them laugh, make them glitch and forget about the day, whatever they've had, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
like that's after I found it, I was like, I was off to the races, brother. I cashed in my
Mm-hmm.
401k and it was on, man. Let's
Real quick.
go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
cashed it. In
Mm-hmm.
my third year into stand up, I was just like, okay, let's go. And I had a
Mm-hmm.
great support staff. My friends were great. My wife was great. My comedic co-workers, people that I met just in stand-up within 3 years, they were like, they were really supportive. And it's great because I think I came into stand-up when the shift happened, about where a lot of support started happening. uh, People stopped competing, like in the sense of there were older comics that would tell me, yeah man, everybody's helping you out now till you get funny. And then I go, oh, I guess you don't find me funny yet. And then they would tell me,
Mm-hmm.
no, you're funny, but when you really get funny, you'll see people fall off, because
Mm-hmm.
then it becomes a competition. Now you're a competition. And to be
Mm-hmm.
honest with you, dude, the same people who helped me out in the beginning have been helping me out now. The
Yeah, those
same
people like
same
that, you got to
people.
keep them close. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, and I'm a very appreciative guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the guy that calls you on your birthday. I'm the guy that does that because I appreciate people, man.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
also the circle's not that big, so it's easy to do it,
Right.
and that's
Right.
that is uh, that is just the way I carry and set my life up. The circle can't be that huge,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so that I
Yes.
can show love and appreciation to those that do it for me.
Yeah, especially nowadays, your circle, circle keep getting smaller, smaller, small. It's
Yeah,
not like back in the days. Everything
yeah,
has changed. I'm really big when it comes to being spiritual,
yeah.
having good energy, high vibrations. Really believe in manifestation. You know
Yeah,
what I
life.
mean?
Everybody's
Right?
like now, everybody's gotten caught up in the whole manifestation thing. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful thing that people are awakening to that. But only
Mm-hmm.
if they just paid attention a little bit. They've been doing it their whole life. It's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like manifestation is more like, to me, more like, I want to do this. I want to get my driver's license. And then you're like, I want to get my driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Ma, sign this permission slip so I can go to driver's ed. Or how do
Right.
I get? Let me get the book to learn
Mm-hmm.
the rules. Now let me set up
Mm-hmm.
an appointment and stuff. And once you follow all the steps, boom, here's your driver's license. You manifested a driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
You really wanted to do that. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like me. Like right now, I'm all about learning how to fly. I want to learn how to
Mm-hmm.
fly. That's the
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to manifest it? Most likely. Why? Because I already
Mm-hmm.
looked into the school. I'm already
Mm-hmm.
saving up money. I know what the budget
Mm-hmm.
is going to be like. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
put that money to the side. And it might take
Right.
me a year, it might take me 2 years, but hopefully I'll reach my dream, which is to fly myself to a gig,
Right.
somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, So that
Right.
manifestation, I'm glad that everybody's waking up and doing that. But it's like kind of like we've been doing it from the beginning. We just lose it. We lose the innocence of, I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a cop. I want to.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
lose all that. But now
Mhm.
people are finding it, and it's great, man. What got you into
Yeah, that's,
podcasting, Joy?
I have good energy, so I meet
Yeah.
people, new people every day. I'm a youth
Yes.
mentor.
Yes.
Work with the youth. I do public speaking and have time and I'm able to. So I work with everybody and have to have communication with everybody.
Yeah.
Have to have the good energy. You got that
Yeah.
bad energy. I'm staying away. I'm not with
Yeah.
all that negative energy. You're not going to bring
Yeah.
that to me and my
Yeah.
family. Positivity. Call you the positivity connoisseur, no?
Yeah. Yeah. They have that. That's on my bio. Yeah. But I'm the type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'm like you in the sense of Joey, where I can get up and I can leave a conversation. I can.
yeah,
If it ain't
yeah.
for me, it ain't for me. I, with all due respect, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate,
Mm-hmm.
guys. I gotta go. I don't make people feel bad about it and
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if someone's coming at me in an aggressive manner, I also know how to stand up for myself. But even then, it's still to the point where Joey, where it's like I know how far this can go, and
Right.
then I have a high level of empathy.
Mm,
Uh, it was given to me by my mother. It was given to me by
mm,
my grandmother, which is like, yes, you could be sitting in a prison cell for
mm-hmm.
something that you did,
Mm-hmm.
but what triggered that? What caused
Mm-hmm.
that? And
Mm-hmm.
what was the chain reaction? And a lot of it, I believe you know this more than anybody, is it all comes down to the communication. There wasn't
Yeah.
enough
Yeah.
communication, or the wrong
Right.
message was being sent. You know,
Right. Right.
I had a buddy of mine who almost got into an altercation because a guy ran a light and it almost took out his family and his kid.
Mm,
He was on the sidewalk, and the guy came real close to the sidewalk, and the guy said, he goes, my friend goes, yo, and the guy rolled down the window. What's
mm-hmm.
wrong with you? And he said,
Mm-hmm.
dude, you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying,
Mm-hmm.
hey man, uh, nothing's wrong, thank God you missed us, but that would have been awful for obviously me and my family, and also you, if you would have taken us off. If you have the clarity to just slow down and have that
Right.
conversation with that human, because you don't know what he's
Right.
going through. You really don't
Right.
know what he's going through. And
That's true.
I learned that. I shed all that ego. Uh, let's get active. I shut all that down in 1997.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
not part of who I am, and that's why I'm able to move into in the circles that I am. Just having a little bit more peace and empathy, even when someone is acting up and is purposely trying to get active. Uh, I just
Mm-hmm.
I just tend to uh, take a breath and be like, well, what's triggering all this? Which also
Mm-hmm.
settles me down. It also
Mm-hmm.
settles me down. It calms down. And a lot of situation, it de-escalates the situation. And even if the situation is escalating, uh, I feel in more control because I'm in
Mm-hmm.
control of my emotions. So
Mm-hmm.
I have time to think. I have time to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
process. Oh, he's coming at me. He's taller than me. Let me kick him in the knee. Like I have
Right.
time to think that
Right.
in that
Mm-hmm.
manner of,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so this is going extra steps. So what are those extra steps? And
Mm-hmm.
because I'm calm and my heart rate is down and my mind is clear, I can take the 3 steps ahead of whatever he's planning on doing when he's
Mm-hmm.
coming my way, or she also. When it's a she, I'll
Mm-hmm.
just run away, brother. I don't mess with women.
I believe that your
Yeah.
wife also got something to do with that. She kind of sharpened you down. I seen that. I
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I say that all the time. She grinding me down. I got no more
Right.
edge, man. And
Right.
I say in
Right.
the joke that people used to cross the street when they used to
Right.
see me. Now
Right.
they don't
Yeah.
cross the street. Now they wave at me,
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I love
Mm-hmm.
that, man. I genuinely
Mm-hmm.
love that. I love that my neighbors look out for me and I look out for them, and it's being part of the community. Um,
Yeah.
being able, I was a kid who wouldn't leave. So I lived in Miami, and Miami is also a county, Miami-Dade
Mm-hmm.
County. So
Mm-hmm.
with Miami-Dade County, the northern county is Broward County. So when I
Mm-hmm.
grew up, Broward County had a bad reputation that if you drove into Broward County, you were gonna get harassed by the cops. They didn't want you up there and stuff. Back in the day when I grew up, our license plates on the car actually said what city you were from. So if you were from Miami-Dade County, your tag said
Mhm.
Miami-Dade County, or Miami. If you were from
Mhm.
Broward, it said Broward. So it was easy for the cops to identify a vehicle when it was on the road. Let's pull these guys over. But also, we're young, we're teenagers, and we're in Broward. So because that happened to me as a young man, I refused to leave my borough, my neighborhood, my
Mhm.
county, you know.
Mhm.
And even within my county, there were certain neighborhoods that I just wouldn't travel in, um, just because I never wanted the harassment from cops. I never did. People and stuff. Miami can get active, and it has its very dark, dangerous parts. But we all know where those parts are at, and we just
Mhm.
avoid that. But like,
Mhm.
you know, what's you being a kid in Miami, and everything that you're getting, everything about Miami, every single postcard always shows the beach, but you're
Mhm.
afraid to go to the beach because
Mhm.
the cops are going to pull you over and they're going to empty out your car and embarrass you in front of everybody.
Right.
So
Right.
like on late night, Friday, Saturday, those were cruising nights. You get in your
Mhm.
box Chevy, you get in your 77, 71 Dunk, and you go down to South Beach, and you just want to cruise and you're with your boys. You're not looking for trouble. You just want to show off your rims.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
the cops will pull you over. Like, no, it ain't, this ain't the vibe. You know, my
Mhm.
South Beach changed after Versace passed away. And then it became, I don't know why that changed, but then they became like, how can I be down? Source Weekend, all of that stuff started happening. And then even then it became, since I was a local, I was just like, nah, I'm not going to the beach with these tourists right now
Mhm.
because they're just out of pocket. They're going to be
Mhm.
disrespectful because this ain't their neighborhood. But I had to learn. I had to learn that
Mhm.
to now
Mhm.
being able to travel the world, man, and move and feel comfortable around the world. You know, I've
Mhm.
been to Portugal. I've been to Spain. I've been to
Mhm.
Italy. I've been to Paris. You know, and it's like I feel I'm comfortable in my skin, but I'm also an
Mhm.
older dude, and
Mhm.
like you just said earlier, Joey, the energy that you carry with
Yeah.
you, people see that. People see that.
Mhm.
But I'm grateful for the early days because then the early
Mhm.
days
Mhm.
keep you
Mhm.
with a certain edge, and you could
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
in France and notice a
Mhm.
pickpocket before he gets to you, you know, and
Mhm.
you make
Mhm.
full eye contact with a
Yeah.
pickpocket. It's like, I know what you do,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know, and I don't care if
Right.
you're a little girl, I know what you do, you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Or they cut,
Mhm.
or they pull up with like, "Hey, we need you to sign up to protect the whales,"
Right.
and they
Right.
grab the clipboard and put it
Mhm.
up here, and then someone's going into
Right.
the other girl is going into your
Mhm.
pocket. I know what you
Mhm.
do. So I need
Mhm.
no, I don't care about the whales right now, but I already donated, and I keep it moving. Me and my wife just kept it
Mhm.
moving, you know.
Mhm.
So, and I'm glad I'm married to a woman who understands that world. Also, she's very savvy and very
She got to be your
she has
backbone.
yeah, she has a lot
Mhm.
of the street sense that's needed in this
Mhm.
world. Even
Mhm.
though one time we did go to Dominican Republic, Joey, and this woman
Mhm.
just she wanted some candy, and the people were like, "Yeah, they make the candy in there," and she just went
Mhm.
into an alley, bro. And I was like, "Why are you off the main street?" And here I
Oh
go
yeah.
passing, going into the alley, and sure enough, in the alley, there's a guy with a machete hanging out
Oh
and
man.
stuff, but he's not doing anything. He's an older gentleman, but it's all
Right.
dark and
Yeah.
stuff. And sure
Yeah.
enough, in
Yeah.
the back is a lady making dulce de leche, and she
Mhm.
packages
Mhm.
it up herself, and she has the big, like, she went to where they're making it. And I was just
Okay.
like, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
buy a couple. Yeah, let's get out of
Right.
here.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I remember telling her, babe, how can you can't just do that? And then she goes, what? And then I go, just look of what you just came out of.
Yeah.
And
You never know.
she was like, yeah, but you only live once. And then that was
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah.
all right, you know, I'm not gonna get into that fight. We're on vacation.
Yeah. You ain't gonna win either, brother.
Yeah, yeah. How long you been married, Joey?
14 years and July.
Congratulations, brother.
Yeah, I
Congratulations.
appreciate it, man. Yeah, like you said, when I seen the HBO special and I was seeing, all these
Yeah,
different videos and the part when you said that your wife sharpens you, I look at her, she
yeah,
looked at me, and it's like start laughing. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like these women don't play, and she's
Yeah, yeah,
Dominican, so it's like when she says something,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so it's
I'm
like
glad. Give her my
they keep you
love, man.
straight.
Yeah, give her my love. I know my Dominican people are really supporting me there, but I
Yeah, they are.
support them back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've done the Tonight Show. I've been blessed to do the Tonight Show 4 times
Mm-hmm.
already.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's at least 2 times where you see the Dominican flag on me, like I
Mm-hmm.
have it on the
Mm-hmm.
jacket
Mm-hmm.
that I'm wearing and whatnot. So it's
Mm-hmm.
always been a great journey.
How do you find humor in everyday life situations, and what is your process for creating comedy material?
I don't I don't I tell comics all the time the way my process is a little bit I don't think is very productive. And I'm trying to break away from it, which is like I write a lot of my stuff on stage.
Mm.
Some of it I know where I'm going, and then some of it uh, I stuff happens in real time, and then I just something happens with my brain where it just sees it and hears it a
You go
different
with the
way.
flow.
Yeah, it's called I
Mm-hmm.
move with the flow of the process. So then the process
Mm.
takes me there. I acknowledge it, and because I guess the skills that have been bestowed upon me, the gift, I'm able to find the funny in it. And
Mm-hmm.
be, but then what I do now is I am recording audio recording all my sets, so then I can make those and keep adding to it.
Yeah.
So, like
Mm-hmm.
for example, I was just like I told you, I was just in Yonkers, and I was talking about a surgery that I had for kidney stones, and they had to go up my love tool, and then like that, and
Mm-hmm.
they took
Mm-hmm.
pictures, and
Mm-hmm.
then I said, and I sent the pictures, and then and everybody was laughing because I said I'm saving those pictures for if my wife ever leaves me. That's what I'm gonna put on my profile. I said that, and I've
Right.
never said this, Joey. If my wife
Mm-hmm.
ever leaves
Mm-hmm.
me, that's what I'm. Those pictures are gonna be what I put in my profile because my love tool looked fantastic. I'm gonna put it in black and white. And then I said, I'm gonna put it in black and white. And then I follow that by saying, because that's art. It's not porn if it's black and white.
Mm-hmm.
And the audience just like, what is he saying? And I started laughing on stage, and I said,
Mm-hmm.
what am I
Mm-hmm.
even saying right now? And then
Mm-hmm.
people hit me up after the show. It's not porn if it's in black and white. That's all they kept saying. It's not porn if it's in black and white. It's not. I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, we got
Mm-hmm.
something there. So that makes the set now. So
Right.
next time I retell that story, that those tags are there, and it
Mm-hmm.
becomes a thing. That's the only way that I can really describe that is happening. That my creativeness, it just is enlightened. I really do try to write stuff down too, but like most of the stuff that just hits with people is
Mm-hmm.
that live stream of consciousness. We're on
Mm-hmm.
stage, and it becomes then, and then I do it the next night, and it works again, and then I do it the
Right.
next night, and it works again. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think it's very productive, though. To be honest with you, I really wish I could just be a writer and just sit there every day and just
Right.
write. You know?
Everybody do things in their unique way. It
Yeah, yeah,
works. And it
yeah,
works.
yeah.
I mean, it's been working for you so far.
Yes, yes, yes. But it's like you kind of know. You
Mm-hmm.
know, Joey. You know. I don't know what it is that you're missing. Because we're all missing something. But
Yeah.
Joey,
Yeah.
you're the only one that knows. That's why I don't know. That's why
Yeah.
I'm sharing my
Mm-hmm.
personal thing. Man,
Yeah.
Joey,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if I was the type of guy that would just sit down like Jerry Seinfeld every day,
Mm-hmm.
and even if
Mm-hmm.
I what I wrote was trash,
Mm-hmm.
by the end of the year, I'll be I'll be I'll be a monster at what I
Mm-hmm.
do. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I'll be a monster. They say it's 100 hours, right, in a
Mm-hmm.
year. So all you really got to do, whatever it is, all I really got to do is write every day for like 18 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So by the end of the year, that'll put in the 100 hours, right? And
Mm-hmm.
by the end of the year, I'll be in the top 1% of the people that do what I do.
Mhm.
writing wise, because
Mhm.
every day has been the discipline. It's just the discipline, you know.
Mhm.
If you develop the discipline and you're able to do it just every day, every day. And I know this about me. I know this, but I do not carry the discipline. You know, I'm also a type of dude. I'm always fixing stuff. I'm always doing stuff. I'm
Mhm.
always,
Mhm.
and my wife is always, why don't you just sit down? You just got here, you know? And I was just like,
Mhm.
all right. We're all missing something, and it's good that I'm already hitting that part of my life where I'm acknowledging it. And it's like, but it's still up to me whether it's like, okay, this is what I'm missing. At least I can forgive myself, because it's like I'm not playing dumb anymore. I know exactly what I need to do. I'm just not
Right.
doing. So
Right.
it all depends. The what I need to do line up with the goal that I have. So there is a certain goal that I don't talk about, but that goal, I know what that goal needs to, what I
Mhm.
need to do to reach that goal, which is there's discipline involved. Uh, there's also mostly discipline. There's also getting up in the morning. There's also going to the gym. It's
Mhm.
also dropping to my high school weight, that type of thing.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
come on, Joey, I love food, bro.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I heard, I heard the one about the six pack. That was a good one too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
a
that was a
married
good one.
dude.
That
I
was a
don't
good one.
I don't
Yeah.
have to do that anymore. I don't have
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
any of that
Yeah.
stuff.
You don't want.
Yeah.
You don't want to be. You don't want to look suspect.
No, 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 no. I don't want my wife questioning me. But
Right.
there, on the other hand, she is the most supportive person in the world when it comes to it. Like, hey, babe, you got to do it. You got to do it. But she also says, stay in bed. Let's eat breakfast. That type of thing. I'm blessed, man. I'm truly
Mhm.
blessed.
What advice would you give to aspiring comedians looking to break into the industry? How do you connect with diverse audiences and ensure that your humor resonates with everyone?
Hmm. The advice that I would give to an upcoming comedian would be to um, this was very important for me.
Hmm.
Um, I went where comedy happens, where comedy is celebrated. So I was lucky enough that my first time on stage was at the Miami Improv. So with that happened, by me doing that, I was in a place that was there to nurture comedy. There's a lot of comics that start out and they go to open mics and they do bars and and like a taco place or like a backyard, and you think that people are ready for comedy in an environment like that, and some of them are, but most aren't. So then you go, you put forward your best self, and it doesn't get recognized because it's like, nah, man, I've had a long day. I'm actually arguing with my wife. I'm in this bar just to have a beer and watch the game. And right now, you guys turned off all the game because you guys want to
Hmm.
tell me about your day. I don't want to hear about your day. I'm going through my own thing. But by me going to the
Right.
comedy club, it was just everybody there knew, hey, improv comedy club. I'm here for an improv. So that's one of
Hmm.
the advices. If you have the opportunity to start in a place where they do stand up. Give yourself a lot of grace and forgiveness, because not everybody's good off the jump. You got to give yourself
Right.
time to develop. And also, like everything else in life, and we talked about it earlier, the people you surround yourself with. I got real
Hmm.
lucky because I started at the age of 32. I I was pulled into a circle of guys and gals who were all kind of like in my same age group. So we were all behaving the same way
Hmm.
with and not me hanging out 32-year-old and hanging out with a 21-year-old.
Hmm.
That would have been different energy, different. I would have
Hmm.
probably picked up bad habits because they would have been like, yeah, I've been doing it since I was 17, and that's
Hmm.
cool. But so I was gonna quit stand up, and Sebastian Maniscalco, the comedian, he's the one that stopped me. He was just like, "Nah, man, you're good.
Hmm.
You're 32. You got stories to tell. You've lived life." And I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's awesome. And then the audience, the diversity, um, I can't call it. I know what I look like. I know what I sound like. Uh, I guess is the ability of me being honest when I'm on stage. So when I talk about HGTV, I really like HGTV.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that really like it. They don't say,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
When it talks about I'm not a very complicated guy, you know. I like vanilla ice cream, man. It goes great with everything. All the
Mm-hmm.
other ice cream you can't put that
Mm-hmm.
many toppings on. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Vanilla ice
Mm-hmm.
cream just accepts it, you know. Uh, I like Montana. I went up there and it was my first time, and I talk about the experience. So I guess is the way that I can connect with people is that is, and then when you hear me talk, you're like you also understand that like, oh, Orlando knows what it is like to be with no electricity in the house for months. You know, he
Mm-hmm.
knows what it is not to not to have a cell phone. He knows what it is to drive around in a car with a fake insurance card that you would just show it to the cops when you got pulled over.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
if you got into an accident, you had to make a decision right there and tell people, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I was ready to be like, hey man, I don't have insurance. I can pay you little by little type of deal. So is that whole uh, is in presenting myself as a whole, you know, and telling people like, yo, I used to be that guy. Now I have no edge. My wife took off all the edge. You know, I don't have a six pack. Why? I'm married. You know that like that
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. And I think
Mm-hmm.
across the board, everybody can relate. It just all depends where that human being is at this time, whether they're willing to smile and giggle at stuff like that. That my favorite thing is to find the toughest guys in the room and get them to laugh. Like just get them and
Mm-hmm.
let them. I just had a brother that came to the show, one of the last shows, and he's 6'7", something like that. 6 foot. He was really tall because I looked like a little kid next to him. Uh, but he was making himself so small, and I took a beat and I said, "Hey man, why are you making? What's your name?" And he tells me his name, and then I go, hey, I want you to be free, man. And he goes, what? And he goes, I want you to be free. He goes, I am free. I go, yeah, you are, but you're not right now. You're like punched over and you're just holding. Yo, relax. Let your greatness shine. You're 6 foot something, right? He goes, I'm not trying to block. I'm not trying to block their view. And then I say, look at that. You got a great heart. Like if you would have seen this guy, you would have been like the
Mm-hmm.
tattoos on the hand,
Mm-hmm.
on the
Mm-hmm.
neck, and then you would have been like, this guy is active. But
Mm-hmm.
the first thing he said, I'm not trying to block their view. You know,
Mm-hmm.
even the
Mm-hmm.
way he said it in an aggressive, hard way. And then I said, look at
Right.
that. You're such a good guy. You're thinking about the people behind you. Just tilt to the side, man. I want you to be free. Just tilt. You could see. And they were like, yeah, we could see. And it became this energy. And dude, after that, there wasn't anything that I could say wrong for him. He would just laugh at everything because he was able to. He was
Mm-hmm.
making himself small, but that's something that I know I've done and a lot of brothers have done, including yourself, where sometimes we walk into our room and it's not really about our height or our look. It's really we're making
Mm-hmm.
ourselves small because
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to be recognized right away
Mm-hmm.
with for ourselves or be called on or and that's what he was doing. And then I tell the audience, man, that's not me. I'm not here to try to go viral with a clip of me and you having a conversation. This thing isn't even being filmed. That's not
Mm-hmm.
my purpose. That's not my goal that I'm
Mm-hmm.
here to do. What was the
What
next
has
one?
been the most rewarding experience your comedy career so far?
Uh, the most rewarding experience has to be my first time on the Tonight Show. Uh, my my HBO special, and but most important, man, even though I love myself and it took a long time to get here to where I love myself, the way that the people that you love look at you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the way that my mother looks at me, which I've always been loved by my mother, but the way that my mother looks at me, the way that my wife looks at me, the way that my true good friends look at me, like, man, you've turned it around. You're living in your light. You know, you're that people recognize your purpose. Like they're like, it's undeniable the way that that the way that you're moving triggers something inside of people that's like, you know, holy
Mm-hmm.
crap, man, I'm so proud, I'm so happy. I uh, just to hear my mother say, I don't have to worry about you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That means the world, Joey. That means the
It
world. I
means
don't know
it
if your
means a
mother,
lot.
if you have a relationship with your mother, or she's here or not,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
when your mother tells you something like that I don't have to worry about you,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure you've gotten that from some people. Maybe they haven't been uh, uh, emotionally able to tell you verbally, but you recognize it as a human being in their eyes that like, oh man, so and
Mm-hmm.
so's proud of me. So and so is proud of me that I'm no longer there. So and so is proud of me that I'm not in that hole anymore. That I'm helping the youth. That I'm
Mm-hmm.
helping
Mm-hmm.
prevent people to
Mm-hmm.
go into that hole or
Mm-hmm.
go back into that hole. That
Mm-hmm.
alone, that means the world to you, man. That helps you
Yeah, yeah,
sleep at night.
yeah.
You
It
know,
does.
it really
Mm-hmm.
does. But it starts also with me because it took a while, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, for me to get to a place where I really accept myself uh, and love myself and understand that I deserve kindness and goodness and love and laughter.
Mm-hmm.
We all get there at different times. I got there a little bit. I got there when I got there. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful for it. You know.
Mm-hmm. But you can. All that matters is you got there.
Yeah, man.
That's
Yeah,
what matters.
yeah.
Can you share your experience working on a comedy special for HBO and voicing a character in an animated film on Hulu? How do these projects differ from your stand-up comedy routine, and what do you enjoy most about them?
Well, with the experience with my HBO special was one of the stars aligning. The right producer with Edwin Licona and Victor at Viva Films. I got them. These were guys that didn't even want to see my material. They're like, "You're
Mm,
done. You got it. We're doing a half hour with HBO with you. Uh, here's the contract. Everything. My lawyers lined up. Everything just lined up. It was kind of like the flow, moving with the flow of the process. I'm telling you, there
mm-hmm,
were no wrinkles. I did
mm,
it. Um, I blanked on stage. I remember blanking on stage because this is my first special, and everybody those productions run on time. Like time is very important, and Edwin Licona gave me enough grace that he was just like, nah, he just let, because it was, no one knew that I blinked because I started tap dancing. I started
mm,
connecting and doing that, but I blinked up here, but I kept my mouth running. He knew, and he had the grace of saying, no, let him go. He's going to catch it again. He's going to catch it. It's kind of like missing the beat, and then you catch the beat again. And that's what happened. I was off beat, and then I caught it, and then it was off, and then it was like you don't even notice it. He was
mm,
obviously there was an editing there, but he cut it right, and
mm,
it was perfect. It was like that
mm,
never happened, and he gave me the grace where in other places they would have shut me down because of time. They would have been like,
mm,
"Oh, we're running low.
mm,
That's what we got," and I only had one opportunity. So usually when you tape a special, you get two filmings. I only had one,
mm,
so
mm,
it was what it was, and it was great. I did that, and then the same company, Viva Films, they have Viva Kids. They called me up to voice an animated uh, alien called Wobble, And dude, that was it. That's from a kid who all he did was watch cartoons. Uh, I was waiting for that
Hmm.
moment, man. I still want to have that moment again. That was
That's
just
what's up.
great. That was yeah, because it's so to get introduced into that world was great. And then I remember going early, and Will Forte was still uh, filming, which is like Will Forte's MacGruber, and he's from Saturday Night Live, and he was still recording his voice. So it was kind of like, it was great because I just got to sit and through the window see someone work. I didn't know
Hmm.
what I was doing, but
Hmm.
because I was there an hour early, I was able to see what he was doing, and it was just like, oh, okay. So all I got to do is read the line. And if they don't like
Yeah.
it, I read the line again. And if they don't like it, I read the line again. But I'm also
Hmm.
in sweats and everything, and everybody's relaxed.
Hmm.
This isn't like
Hmm.
we're out in the world and we got lights and there's cameras and everything. This is the voiceover world where it's a little bit more relaxed. You still got to convey the energy and the message that the character is trying to
Hmm.
get through,
Hmm.
but you're able to do it in a more relaxed setting, you know? So that was
Hmm.
good, man. It was a great experience doing that. And that's why Viva Films, Viva Kids, I'm eternally grateful to those guys, you know?
What's the most memorable or surprising moment you've had on stage?
Most memorable moment on stage is um, it has to be my comedy special, and then that many people showed up to come to the filming to see a theater
Hmm.
full. And yeah, some of it is promoting, and they're like, and people get excited because
Hmm.
it's actual cameras are going to be there and everything. People get excited, but to have those people show up for me, uh, that was a memorable moment. I couldn't I couldn't and then everything else, man, just being in comedy, period, just being able to like Joey, just being able to pay my bills, brother.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
being able, I'm not I'm not wealthy, I'm not rich.
Hmm.
I'm I like to tell people, especially my family members, because sometimes they understand. I'm like, man, I'm I'm like a city employee that does a lot of overtime. I probably work
Hmm.
in sanitation or whatever you want to call it. He does a lot of overtime, but to be able to keep a roof over my wife and I's head, to be able to get on an airplane and go see our family during the holidays and take time off just for that, that means the world to me, man. And that's why I move the way that I move, because those things I recognize as success. So I'm not going crazy when someone's having their success, because that's their success. That's not my
Hmm.
success. My
Hmm.
success, I wrote it down in a book, and it was crazy. This was an interview with John Mayer, the
Hmm.
musician. And John Mayer goes, whenever you start doing whatever it is you're doing, especially this was to musicians, he said, whatever success means to you, write it down. That way, when
Hmm.
you achieve it, you're not constantly like, oh, but what about? You already have the success. So I already have
Hmm.
the success, because initially my success writing was that uh, I get to make a living off of stand up comedy. And I
Hmm.
do it all, Joey. I do corporate gigs, I do the
Hmm.
clubs, I do the theaters, I do opening acts for bigger comics. I open up the show for them. I get on a cruise, and I'll do a cruise for 3 weeks and work on a
Hmm.
cruise. And this is
Hmm.
stuff that a lot of people don't want to do.
Hmm.
And I understand it, because it's just not for you, but it
Hmm.
is for me, because it's what I
Hmm.
call success, because I
Hmm.
make a living as a stand up comic,
Right.
and it's taken
Right.
me all around the world.
What upcoming projects or goals are you most excited about in your comedy journey?
Believe I'm doing the Tonight Show again, and that's going to be the fifth time. And to be a
Hmm.
Dominican Puerto Rican descent of
Yeah.
uh, to do it for 5 times, and no, I'm excited about that. We're in talks for my hour to start coming to
Hmm.
light and filming an hour of stand up comedy,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I'm in this place where um, free tickets are no longer being given out. So what
Mm-hmm.
does that mean, Joey? You do public speaking. Uh, there's times where you do public speaking or I do a comedy show. And then there's people that pay for the comedy show. And then there's people that get some type of promotional email
Mm-hmm.
from the club.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, come and see Orlando Leyva. Here's 2 free tickets. You won, Joey. You won 2 free tickets to come and see Orlando Leyva this weekend at Laugh Boston.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Those people might show up. They're not really fans. They don't even take time. But now to actually be on the road, and maybe I don't sell out the room, Joey, but there's 100 people that really rock with me. That means the world to me. 100 people that went and bought a ticket and got a babysitter for their kid, and it's like we're gonna go
Mm-hmm.
see him because I saw his video and I relate to him because I used to have an edge, and just like him, I don't have an edge anymore. That type of energy means the world to me, man. That excites me, man, and it's starting to happen more and more as I'm on tour now. It's starting to happen more and more, and dude, I'm very open about it. The other day, I had a show that the whole room you couldn't fit a soul into the room, and that show was amazing. You know, the next
Mm-hmm.
show had 10 people in it. It was a late show. 10 people came out, and that show was amazing because I did not shortchange them, and they felt that from me. They
Mm-hmm.
felt it. They're like, man, you
Mm-hmm.
bought these tickets, I'm gonna make it worth it. And then after the show, I'm taking pictures with people. I'm even grabbing their cameras and taking pictures of them. No, you would look great in this light. Trust me. To a group of girls, and you know what I'm saying. And
Mm-hmm.
and my opening acts look at me and they were like, "Man, you're so different, man. Like your
I mean,
ego
you can
is like
tell. You
is
can tell.
different. Like you're just a different. Like who does that?" And like one of my openers, Irene Morales, uh, she put it up on her Instagram. Usually people want to take pictures for with the headliner, but here's our headliner at Heylando taking pictures of the fans.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, oh man, I didn't do it for that reason. I didn't do it for the gram. I just did it because it was just like it was my way of helping them because they just helped me. They showed up.
Just by this doesn't feel like an interview. It just feel like two guys having a great conversation, and the reason
Yeah,
why is because I can tell that you're laid back, you're humble,
yeah,
you're a professional,
yeah.
but you still know your worth.
Hmm.
You know how to interact and communicate with the audience, with everybody else. See that's what makes you different. Seeing how you carry yourself and your energy, you're gonna be up there with the greats. That time's
Yeah.
gonna come. You know what I mean? Because I already see it.
I,
Like,
people like you and myself were cut from a different cloth, and we just know what this world is about. We know that this world can
mm,
go. You know, I, you know, we're dealing on some personal stuff. I'm dealing with some personal stuff with my father-in-law and everything, and it's some serious stuff. And you
yeah,
were so gracious to be like, hey man, we could do this another time. And
of
then I go,
course.
yeah, but
Mm, mm,
I can also go outside and some goofy stuff happens where I trip over steps, and then that's my last day on earth, and I
that's true.
wasn't able, you know.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
had the. I'm not saying. I'm not saying I'm putting that on ice to do this.
Mm,
I'm
mm-hmm,
just
mm-hmm,
saying right now, just where the time is,
mm-hmm,
I got
mm-hmm.
this. I got this time.
Yeah, yeah.
The reality
Mm-hmm,
is, if you and me wouldn't be doing that, I would probably be finding some other stuff to do around the house. So no,
yeah,
do this.
yeah.
This guy Joey took time to reach out to me and send me a message and tell me I have a podcast. He took time to send me questions that I also
Mm.
apologize because I didn't read them
No
because of
worries.
everything that I'm
No
dealing with.
worries.
And I
No
said, but
worries.
let's do it live. Just ask the
Mm-hmm,
question.
mm-hmm,
We get there,
mm-hmm,
man. Well, how
mm-hmm.
we get there and everything. And this is it's a great experience, man, and I cherish this. I cherish this, and I'm grateful for it. I give thanks for this moment that I'm here to be able to share with you because I believe you understand this more than most, but there's a whole world where there's a lot of people who aren't here to have these little experiences that me and you are having this particular moment, man. And it
Yeah.
means the world to me. It doesn't get
I
lost on me. So that's
agree.
why I move like this. And then a long time ago, I hope that you can take this one with you. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
dark, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like live for your obituary. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that translates is like the day that you cross over, what are they gonna say about
Right. Right.
you? You know? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like I'm not. I also fail a lot, man. I also fail a lot. I probably fail a few times a day, uh, being a good human being. But I've also learned to. I love the word grace. I've learned to give myself grace and give other people grace. And once I discovered that, then everything just became. It became a lot simpler. It becomes more of a straighter line. And what's the shortest uh, thing that you could take between two spots is the straightest line. Just take the straightest line, man. It's not that complicated, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It really
Mm-hmm.
isn't, you know. But we fail and we forgive ourselves. We fail, we forgive
Yeah.
ourselves. We
Yeah.
keep on doing, you know.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity and being on my podcast since I know
There you go.
you always on the road
Yeah.
and you have a busy schedule. I appreciate you, brother.
All right. Thank you so much for having me, Joy. It means the world to me, bro.